Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Studio 78 podcast. I am your host, Nache from NacheSnow.com. Welcome, my friends, to the season finale of the 10th season. That's kind of crazy. I can't believe that we're finishing up season 10 and that the podcast has been on about 5 years. It's absolutely amazing. If you have not already, please listen to the guests that I've had on this season. They have been absolutely amazing as far as like sharing information freely with you guys. I mean, I started and kicked the season off with Sarah Matthews, who came back on talking about solo exhibitions, teaching courses, and encouraging yourself. And it also came back on and talked to us a little bit about the difference between a business strategist versus a brand strategist versus a brand consultant. And then I had Miss Leah on, and she talked about funding a Black business directory and also talked about branding and marketing. Trina Little, who's a YouTube boss, was on the podcast. Great episode. My good friend Allison McNeil was on, and she was talking all about leadership and being a change agent and all the things. It was so good. And then I had another person on discussing video, which was Natasha Samuel, and she talked about building an online presence and really how to shine with video. And then I had the Miss Lovely Kelsey on from Hawaii, who is a self-taught illustrator, and she kind of talked about how she built her business. And then we had Julie and Anna on talking about Annie's Closet and how they created a pop-up thrift shop that is doing very well. And then last week, of course, I had Gabby on, and she was talking all about how to create a content strategy and when it's time to work with someone professionally to help you with that. So, oh my goodness. And I didn't even get into the episode that LaKaye and I had talking about goal setting and adding more creativity in your life and financial wellness. And so this season was really chock full of a lot of amazing content. And I swear, you guys, if you guys go back and have a listen to these episodes and take notes, it will really help you reach your goals and inspire you to do that thing that you've been putting off. And so I really was very proud of this season and getting it out there and being able to secure these amazing guests. I also look forward to next season. I already have contacted some guests for next season, and I'm probably going to start recording that in a couple of weeks just so that I can get ahead of things. But man, this season has been absolutely phenomenal. And so I hope you guys have enjoyed it too. So for this last episode, I have LaKaye back on, my lovely co-host, and she's going to come back on next season too, just as long as things don't get too crazy in her business. And we are talking about our wins for quarter one. We talk about business-wise, what our wins were, and then personally what our wins were too. I really think you guys are going to like both, but in particular, the personal ones too, because, you know, we might have you guys buying some stuff for your home, for your office, because we throw out some things that we've purchased that, you know, we have come to love. Not only do we talk about that, but we also talk about journaling and goal tracking. I talk about the Craftcation Conference that I'm about to go to, and I'm doing a workshop on Notion and building a second brain with Notion. And then we end the episode just talking about books that we're considering reading in quarter two. And so I list off a ton of books. So if you're like me and you love a good business book or love a good self-help book, you might actually find one in there that you also want to tackle for the next quarter. Now, I have a ton of links. I think I'm up to like 20 links or so from all the things that we mentioned in this episode, from planners to books to home decor to episodes we recommended you guys listen to. All of that is linked in the show notes over at NacheSnow.com/1 168. And the last thing I'll say is to keep up with me, please follow me on Instagram at Nache Snow and follow me on YouTube. You can search Nache Snow or go over to nachesnow.com/YouTube and it will redirect you there because I'm hoping to put out 2 new videos in the next couple of months, which I'll talk a little bit about in this episode. But yeah, so just please follow me, stay connected. Also, make sure that you guys subscribe so you'll be notified when the next episode is coming out. And you know, I'm everywhere: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, you name it. So just hit that subscribe button right now. Just hit it. Boop, boop. And you will know when that next episode hits. Also, I would really appreciate it if you guys rate me 5 stars. In particular, Apple Podcasts has the 5-star rating. If you go over there, just take a second, rate me 5 stars, and also leave a comment. You guys know engagement is king, right? Or queen. If you guys take a moment to do that, that would be greatly appreciated. If this episode is inspiring to you, please share. Sharing is caring. Please share it away with someone that you think might benefit from it. And then again, subscribe, my friends. And of course, the newsletter, nachesnow.com/newsletter, but that will also be within the links. Okay, let's just jump right into this episode. We have a lot of fun chit-chatting, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. All right, let's do this. Okay, folks, so this is the season finale for season 10 of the Studio 78 podcast. LaKaye is here with me today. Hello, LaKaye.
Well, hello, Nache.
So we're going to just chat a little bit about some wins from last quarter, some things that we want to accomplish this quarter. We'll also kind of share some things that we think that you might be interested in. And so hopefully this last episode of the season will inspire you guys to get organized for quarter 2. And so when I come back on with some amazing guests and to rekindle with LaKaye, I hope to hear some voice messages from people where they tell us all the awesome things they've done.
Have you gotten any voice messages?
I did. I got one.
Okay.
From Sarah Matthews.
Oh, Sarah. Sarah's my friend from far away.
And she actually has requested that we do an episode on Patreon. And if we could find someone who's been pretty successful at implementing like a Patreon type membership. So I'm going to look out for that. So listeners out there, if you have any creatives that have used Patreon that you think I should reach out to, send an email to hello@nachesnow.com. Okay, so let's just jump right into it. LaKaye and I are recording the middle of March, so Q1 isn't quite over with yet. But my goodness, this quarter has flown by. Mm-hmm. Just like, I feel like we just said Happy New Year. We just set our colors of the year. Mine was gold. Yours was pink. My word of the year was experiment. Your word of the year was consistency. I feel like, man, I was like, have we even had time to even try to implement all this? But I guess we have, so no excuses.
Yes. What's the word? We have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. Is that
right? So hashtag no excuses. And so for you, LaKaye, just business-wise or personally, what are some of the wins that you want to share for this year?
Of course, you start with me first. Okay, so let me just be real with the people. I'm still navigating the wins, the highs and the lows of the business. So I had a fantastic fourth quarter. So now I have to work on keeping the momentum going and realizing that businesses have natural ebbs and flows. So I had a moment where Nache had to, not physically, but she slapped me around verbally and told me to get myself together because everything was going to be all right. So now I feel like I'm back on track. And the positives are I have set my goals and actually realized that I'm not as bad off as I thought I was. So the wins that I have, in my roundabout way of getting there, is I have networked with a couple of people. I'll be doing some women's business conferences. So I have some tables signed up. I'm going to be displaying some of my work and talking to potential customers. So that was good. I also have brought on a couple of interns, which will help me keep my social media and my marketing consistent. So those are wins that are going to pay off as the months go on.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest lesson I've learned is I need to turn on all of my taps. In the business world, that means I need to have my social media going. I need to be out and about, meeting people, making
Mm-hmm.
one-on-one connections, and all that. So I didn't have all my taps open. So now I'm opening my taps, as they say.
Love it. Okay.
Yeah. How about you? What's your wins?
My biggest win is just getting the podcast out every week
Mm.
because since I wasn't able to batch record like I have done in the past, it's a lot of work when you have a 9 to 5 because basically you're trying to interview people on nights and weekends, and then you're using the weekend in order to edit and post an episode. And so, depending on if that post is audio only or video, that could take up a lot of time on the weekend because then I'm editing it, exporting both audio and video form. Then I'm creating social media to go into co-schedule for it, creating show notes, creating social media marketing tags to go into co-schedule. I mean, when you add it all up, it's a lot. And when you're doing it every week, it's a lot of time spent into getting an episode out. And so for me, because I couldn't quite get ahead, the fact that I was able to hold on this long and do season 2 on nights and weekends, I think that is a win. And that I was able to secure the guests that I did, some like within the week before, right, of the episode airing because I hadn't did the legwork that I normally do. And all this was, of course, the cause of me purchasing a house last year. And so the legwork that I would have done in Q4 of the year, I didn't get to do because I was busy doing other stuff. So it's almost like you're just like treading water.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I'm taking a break now, because not only do I have a little bit of travel coming up, like I'm going to the Craftcation Conference, but I just needed some time and space to actually catch up. So I'm going to use like a couple of months to batch record some episodes with some other amazing women. And then also I'm going to use that time to record some content that I've been meaning to do for YouTube and finish like this Notion template that I've been working on. I'm really excited about having the space for that and even having more space to take like some courses, more Skillshare courses, because I haven't even been able to really use my Skillshare membership like I normally would because I've been like doing the social media stuff. And even though it's only 1 or 2 posts a week, it takes time to, okay, think about it, edit even like a 8-second clip, right? Find the right music, all the things. And so I'm looking forward to that space. But long story short, I'm just glad that I got through season 10 and I'm like, whoop,
That's a
whoop.
really big deal. I see podcasts start every 5 seconds, and for you to be on season 10, I just think that is incredible.
Yeah, it's
So
wild. 5 years, right?
that speaks a lot to your dedication and professionalism, and yeah, I just think it's great. And plus, I'm here now. I came in right when it got popular. I just hopped right on. Yeah, I'm just gonna hop in. No, I'm scared.
But
Um,
no, it's super, it takes a lot of work, but I really love doing it. I think it's having impact, at least by the emails that I get people. So that's why I always tell people, like, hey, let me know if you're loving this. Yes, I can tell by listens, but if I get a DM or email or if people write a comment on Apple Podcasts or YouTube or whatever, then it motivates me to keep going, right? Because I'm like, okay, I've had impact here or here, you know?
yeah, I think people might think they might be bothering you, or I'm not going to send this message, but Nache will answer every single email, every single, for now, till it blows up. But don't be afraid. Send her a voice message, send a message. We want to hear back from you.
For sure.
Nache, can I go
Um,
back to something real quick?
yeah,
I'm curious about Craftcation because I've
yeah.
heard about it for a couple of years. I've never been, And can you tell me a little bit about it and what your role is going to be this year?
Yeah, hopefully you will get to go one year. That'll be lovely. Craftcation essentially is for creative women. Half of the conference is learning how to do something new like watercolor or painting wood or making jewelry or whatever, sewing, like all the things. And then the other half of the conference is business related stuff for creative people. I think the episode that's going to air right before this one was with Gabby Lane, and she's going to actually be a presenter there too. So if you haven't listened, folks, listen to that episode. And she's talking about content planning, right? And so she's like a BDB helping creative women figure out how to market their materials. So it's like half and half. And then you pick the courses that or the workshops that you want to go to. So like for me, I picked like a mix of business workshops and creative workshops. So I'm really excited. It's going to be fun. And it's
Well,
just
aren't
a
you
great
presenting
place to
too?
network. Huh?
Aren't you presenting this year
Oh
too?
yeah, and yeah, so I am presenting. Yeah, that was the second part of your question. I got so wrapped up in the
You're
conference.
so excited about the conference.
Yeah, I am presenting on building a second brain with Notion. So it's funny in the episode with Gabby, she's like, I am so coming to your workshop because she's been trying to build out something in Notion too. And so I'm really excited to get a group of people together that are productivity nerds like me and want to capture all the things or the things that make sense in Notion. So I'm really hoping to break Notion down in a way that it'll feel like easy to use for people. Don't shake your head.
Oh,
Okay.
sorry. It's nothing easy about Notion, but I'm sure you're going to help the people out because I would definitely sign up for your class there. So I'm like, Notion, what is this? I keep hearing about it, but I don't know how to use it. But okay.
So yeah, so that's really exciting. So I'll be there. I just have one session. Gabby has three. Monique Malcolm, who's been on the podcast, has three sessions. She's going to be in. I got in late. Hey, can I do a workshop? And they were like, yeah, we can squeeze you in. I'm like, thank you. And then I'm hoping to also send ahead of time the Life Cleanse Journal too, because they also have a gift shop there. So I'll have like my books in the gift shop. So super duper excited about that.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, so it should be good. It should be good. Now, did you have any personal wins that you wanted to share?
Well, I don't know if this is a big deal, but I have a standing desk now.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
standing.
Okay. Now,
So
you
that's
know what
good.
you need to get if you haven't gotten already is you need to get one of those mats, like a standing mat,
Mm-hmm.
because it helps with like pressure on your feet and your back and all of that.
Yeah.
So I can send you one from Amazon if you'd like.
Yes, please. So I'm very excited about my standing desk. I'm freed. It actually helps me think a little bit better. At first, it was hard to get used to, but now I like it better.
So the people are going to ask, which standing desk did you get?
Okay, well, I don't have a desk itself. I have the thing that you can put on top of the desk.
Oh, yeah.
So it's not as aesthetically pleasing as Nache would want me to have. However, it does the job and it gets me out of my seat. So I spend a lot of time editing crouched over my desk for hours at a time. And it just helps my posture, I feel like, and it loosens up
That's
my back.
what matters, LaKaye. It's not all about aesthetics.
No, don't even act like that because you would see this thing and you would be like, I cannot believe you put this in your room.
It's about well-being. What do you remember what brand it is?
Oh, it says flexspot.com.
Oh, FlexSpot. Okay.
You've heard of it?
I wonder if it's the same as in my standing desk, FlexiSpot, or is yours just FlexSpot?
Oh, it is Flexi.
Yeah. So it's by, yeah. So I'm sure it's not terrible. Link to it in the show notes, people.
Also, I don't have the kind where you can just press the button and it glides easily up and down like Nache's. I have to physically hold something and scoot all my stuff out the way. But that's not the point. The point is I'm standing.
That is the point. Yes. I know. My next investment is in a chair because I got rid of my other chair broke. And so I've been on a hunt for a chair that works with my 6'1" frame because I need a seat that's like at least 20 inches, I guess, long to support my thighs. Because if it's anything shorter, it like cuts into my thigh and it ends up starting to hurt after a while.
It's like sitting on a bar stool for too long.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've narrowed it down to actually 3 chairs, and it really just boils down to how much do I want to invest. And it's probably something I'm going to have for a decade, so I'll probably just go ahead and spend the cash, but I just have to mentally get there.
I'm waiting for desk chairs to join the revolution and be as pretty as all the other chairs are. Like the really pretty chairs are not supportive.
They're not.
They don't do anything for your back, but they look good in a room. So I'm having a hard time finding a good form meeting function type of a chair.
Sounds like a business idea.
It does. Oh Lord. All these crafty people up here. Don't steal my idea.
She ain't gonna implement it, y'all. Steal away.
It's a product. I have no desire. But I'll buy it from you.
She just wants, and I want a discount.
Right. Send me the prototype. I will use it. I'll take pictures in it. It's gonna be fantastic. I'll do all your branding photos. Just send me a chair.
Yeah, I feel like I had some home wins too. If for people who know me or who've been listening to me a while, I think they know I'm very particular about things. What you might not know is like sometimes I am able to make decisions very quickly if I need to. But when it comes to things that surround me, I purposely take my time because I want it to be just right. And so sometimes it can take forever for me to commit to something. And so I finally committed to a paper towel rack in my kitchen. But I had to, like, for certain things, I feel like you have to be in a space and know how you want to use the space before you could really do some good research on things. And then once you know, okay, I think I'm going to need, like I decided to get an under the cabinet towel rack. And I'm like, I think that makes more sense to me than having another thing on my counter. And then once I determined that, then it was just going through social media and Pinterest and Amazon.
So in other words, you would not like what my standing desk looks like, because if it took you a month and a half to find a paper towel rack, you can appreciate the persnicketyness. Nache picking out design elements.
And I also finally, so it was so bootleg. For 4 months, I have been just throwing my bath towel over the glass shower door. Because another thing, I was like, what do I want to do as far as a towel rack? And so it was looking at a lot of like home decor people, and very rarely do people show like their entire bathroom. And so you could see how it truly functions, right? So it was weird. It took me a while to really see how people were displaying their towels or what they were using to hang their towels. But I ended up switching from wanting a towel bar to towel hooks. Mm-hmm. And best decision ever. Got that. Whoop, whoop. So now I have 4 hooks. So enough for me, enough for guests. And I got white to go with the white walls. So it's like seamless. That was it was a big decision.
I am with you on the towel hooks versus towel bar thing. I can never get my towel straight. Nobody in my family hangs up a towel. So it will hit the floor before it hits anything else, before it gets on the bar. So
right?
I'm with you on the hooks.
And then what else did I do? Oh, okay. So this is a little over the top. Monique already made fun of me for this. But I wanted kind of like a hotel-like feel. And sometimes my shampoo bottles, like one was like busted, like it like cracked. Mm-hmm. And so what I did is I purchased these green bottles, mm-hmm. like pump bottles. So now everything from my liquid tea tree soap to my shampoo and all the things, my Cetaphil face soap, they're all in these uniformed green.
I'm with you on that. I took in the other house, I had a dispenser for my dish soap because I hate the dishwashing liquid container. I have one for oil and vinegar, I'm with you on that. Matter of fact, when I get my bathroom together.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, for those listening, LaKaye has, what would you call those? Those are like, I feel there's like a name for that because they're like almost this modern vintage style glass that has the texture to it. You know what I'm saying? Because they even have glasses, like drinking glasses mm-hmm. that are in that same style. And it's really big right now. But I don't know the name of it.
Oh, but is it apothecary glasses?
I don't know.
But We'll look it up and show it. But I'm
But it's
completely
very
with.
pretty.
Thank you. And this reminds me of the lights that you were planning to get for your dining room.
Yeah, I know. I still need to get those. I haven't fully committed.
It's interesting that you say that it takes you a long time to make decisions because it really doesn't. I think once you see what you like, you go and do it.
Yeah. Well, I caveated that if it's just like day to day stuff, like things that I need to make decisions on, then yeah, I have no problems making a decision. But if it's things that are surrounding me, things that I consider like an investment, even if they're small, like a towel hook, I will take my time making a decision on that because there's no need to rush it, right? Whereas other things, if I need to make a decision, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, I'm investing in that, you know, boom, boom, boom. But for things like the house, it's like I want to get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those are my wins. Okay, so second quarter, what's your plans? April, a couple of weeks away.
I am working on marketing to Mother's Day. Mother's Day is
Mm.
going to be interesting for me this year. This will be my first Mother's Day without my mom. So it's like, not in a downer kind of way, but I want to figure out how to celebrate it and how to make it meaningful, not just for myself, but for my clients too. You have
Oh,
no
yeah.
idea how many people I talk to who won't take pictures of themselves. They only take pictures of their kids or they only get a quick little headshot. But the best thing I ever did was encourage and force my mom to take pictures with her and her friends for her birthday because I have those pictures now. So my Mother's Day promotion, I'm going to do two big things. I'm really excited about it too. I network with the florist locally,
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're going to go to his flower shop, and I'm going to invite people in for the day to take pictures with their mothers. They have to come, not with their mothers. There's also a caveat with that too. Some people don't have their mothers, or some people are not mothers. So if you're a godmother, or if you're an aunt, or if you're a teacher who was special in your lives, but you just have to bring somebody with you. We're going to do the shoot at the flower shop. He's got this whole background planned. We're going to video the whole thing and use that as part of our marketing, but also because I want people to have pictures that are meaningful that they can use. So it's like a give them their flowers type of theme without it necessarily being forced in your face. I'm going to do that in April because I want to have that. I want to have the images and the videos in time for Mother's Day. So that's going to be there. That's it. Plus the two, these are still kind of Women's Month things, the two business networking things I'm going to do. So I'm excited about those two. Gather my table. I think I'm going to make like a display, a digital display, and have some samples of my work out so I can answer questions for people. So I got stuff going on now.
Clearly. So the podcast probably won't be back in April. So if people are in the Hampton Roads area or plan to go to the Hampton Roads area, like how do they find out when it's going to take place?
I'm meeting with the florist next week to finalize everything. But after I do that, I'm going to, of course, put it on social media. But you know how it is. You might see it, you might not. So if you sign up for my newsletter, because I don't have a newsletter now, I'm very fancy.
Win.
Right.
Another first quarter win.
Oh, is that another one? Wow, I'm really
Slipping.
doing big things. So if you go to my website, there's going to be a cute little pop-up. You sign up for my newsletter, and any event that I'm doing or any kind of special, I'm only offering that to newsletter subscribers. I don't post specials on social media because I want people who really value my work. I don't want to just get people who are just price searching. I guess I'll say it that way.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question? What was the question?
It was quarter two goals.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think that is a really achievable goal. Like I did an episode a couple of weeks ago with 3 tips on like how to achieve your goals. And one thing I talked about is SMART goals, right? And I feel like your goal has all the elements, like it's measurable, actionable, timely, and all the other elements that go with it. Very specific. Yeah.
I don't know. Did I give a measurement though? So how do I incorporate the M? How do I say my goal is to have 20 women show up to this event? I don't have a goal for making money for this specifically because I really do feel like it's important that people have pictures, but I use those pictures from the event to promote. So how do I make that?
I guess I would say you said 20 women-ish. Yeah, that's measurable, right? Okay. So you have a specific date. You want to get 20 women to sign up. it's actionable. Like you have to market it, right? And then actually implement it. And it's timely. It's going to happen in the next couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I hit all of them.
Nice.
So that is a great goal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
For me, for Q2, so many things. I'll be traveling here and there in Q2. And so one for me is like Craftcation. I'm going to send them my outline to my course this week. And then I'm also planning the next couple of weeks to just finalize the steps that I want to use in order to like really walk people through how to use Notion and set up like their first page in Notion. And I'm going to do that. Once the season is over, season 10 of the Studio 78 podcast, I'm going to record some videos because I want to do a video on Milanote and how I use that for vision boarding. And then I also need to finish updating this Notion template that I'm working on. And I want to finalize make it essentially a SMART goal, what I'm going to do with it, how many people I want to sign up, and all that, the good stuff. I just haven't really mentally had the time to plan that out. But I plan to have a new template, and I really wanted to help people make time for their passion. And then, of course, once that's finished, I'll do another YouTube video for that. And then Then I have a lot of cleanup that I want to do for this quarter. For example, I want to update some of my funnels for my newsletter because my original funnels that I set up about a year ago are in a very different format than the current emails that I send out now. And I feel like I get more clicks with the emails that I have now. So I'm going to take some of the emails from the last 3-4 months and repurpose them for my funnels. But as you guys know, that takes time and effort. And then another thing that I started doing, but I'm not quite finished doing it yet, is updating all my products that are on dreamsplansideas.com. So for example, I have one product, and for one of the pages, I want to switch out kind of the calendar view. So now it shows like 23, 24, right? Like little stuff. So I just need to make a few tweaks to some of the products, my existing products, and then determine if there's any that I need to pull off the shelf, if you will. So Q2 will really be for me like a lot of updating, cleaning stuff up, newsletter, products, finish the creation of the Notion template, and then pop out a couple YouTube videos related to production and planning. So it's a lot because it's going to be tricky because I'm going to be like, my life is a little complex. Like my family is coming down here for my birthday. And so even though Q2 is 3 months, I probably only have a month and a half, you know what I'm saying, to truly implement the thing. So I'm going to have to be very strategic with how I do things, which is why I'm ending this season of the podcast now, because you try to balance that too with like still going out and still doing things and taking walks and all of that. So it'll be a action-packed Q2, but it should be a good one.
I think one of the biggest lessons that you taught me about planning is that things do actually take time. I used to get frustrated with myself and I would be like, I need to learn Notion, for example. And instead of me setting aside 24 hours to research and all that stuff, I would just be like, it says here, learn Notion. I don't know it yet. So just give myself a checklist on a specific day, but you can't do it. So I think the fact that you know ahead of time that your schedule is super busy and you're allowing yourself that grace to not be like, I got 3 months, why can't I accomplish all these things? But you're also taking the other things into consideration, which I didn't do before. I'll just be like, I have 3 months, why can't I accomplish all of these things? Well, it's because I have 85 other things to do.
Right.
And I also like how you prioritized what you need to do first. So
yeah, because I think it's like really important, because even some things that I realize that I need to make space for is I'm still doing a lot of stuff with the house, right? So for those of you guys don't know, like for some reason in the last 6 months, I'm now like allergic to mosquitoes. and I have these allergic reactions. So my house in the front in the backyard, it has a lot of stuff that I feel like attracts mosquitoes. And so one of the things I need to build in is like making time to pull up and spray and do whatever I need to do. So as I'm going from my garage to my house, I'm not getting bit up and then have these gigantic welts.
Right. Looking like a patient.
And I've already bought some mosquito repellent or whatever to put on, but I want to reduce my chances of getting bit. And I don't want to be sitting outside or I don't want to like not be able rather to sit outside because I'm too afraid to get bit by mosquitoes, right? So I've invested even in those little thermosails. I'm like hardcore because you guys, seriously, I have a very bad allergic reaction. So it's like even building in time for that, building in time for some home projects. Like I started using this rub and buff stuff on my doorknobs. So I want to finish that. So all my doorknobs are like gold.
I'm so glad other people can hear this.
And so it's like when you think about that, right? Especially if you're doing some of your passion stuff on nights and weekends, you have a very specific amount of hours you could use in order to do it. Like I have about 4 hours after work per day where my brain is still active. And even those 4 hours, I still got to eat. So really it's 3 hours, right? And then the weekend, depending on if I have something going on or not, I try to dedicate like 8 hours per day do either planning or actually executing things. So for me, it's really important to be very strategic about what I want to accomplish and what I want to do, or things just won't happen.
Yes, which has been my life up until recently.
Yeah, because even another thing that hasn't been as creative as I wanted, but I'm still making sure I'm consistent with it, is journaling. So you may not have seen, like I have an Instagram account at Dreams, Plans, Ideas, and normally I'm posting my spreads and stuff, but I haven't really had time to do any beautiful spreads. And so basically, I'm still journaling like every day and writing down what I've accomplished and my thoughts and so forth, but it's just not as decorative because I just haven't had the space to do that as I'm trying to do all the things, which is fine, right? I left space to go back and do it. And so one Sunday, I'm just going to lay everything out on the dining room table and I'm going to go back, for the first quarter and I'm going to draw stuff on the pages and just have at it. And even if I choose not to do it and start from April, it's okay too, because it's not like I stopped journaling. I kept that. I just didn't have time to do like the beautiful spreads that I normally do because sometimes you have to make sacrifices when you have a lot of things you need to accomplish.
Did I mention anything about my planning parties at my studio?
You didn't.
Small one. So when you started talking about your journals and making them pretty, I've been inviting my clients to my studio once a month to play in stickers and to lay out their planners. And it's been going really, I like it. The people seem like it has been helpful because some people don't use paper planners or they hadn't. So the 2 times that we've done it so far, I really do it because I like to play in the stickers and I get very possessive over my stickers. So that was something I had to free up. So I let people use my stickers for their planner. But this time, the first time we just had to go for it. We're just going to do whatever. But the second time we did it with intention, like how we're going to put out things, what do we want to accomplish for the month, and then put them in the planner. So that was pretty cool. So I'm really excited about, because personally, I'm a paper planner type of person, and I will only use my planner if it looks pretty.
And I'll link in the show notes to the planners we use because I use Notion, but I also have been using a paper planner just to, it's funny. I have Notion, I have an actual paper planner that I've been using to plan out stuff. And then when I just have random ideas, I also just have a journal where I just do that. And then I have a bullet journal where I record all the things. It sounds like a lot, people, but I promise it's not. But what planner do you use so I can make sure I link it in the show notes? I know you've mentioned it before.
I use the Happy Planner system, and it's changed over the years. Like before, the thing that Happy Planner is known for is they have the disc planners. So you could
Mm.
take out pages and put them back or whatever. And that's been really popular. But I switched to what's this called? A double ring planner. So it has the things on the side. So it's not as
Oh yeah.
flexible, but it's still pretty.
But yeah, the one that I use too also has the
Oh,
coil binding,
yeah.
and it's by Pen and Pillar. And I also have like my sheets in there where, because if you guys haven't already, I'll link it in the show notes. But I try to use the moon to remind me to take a look at the things that I'm doing so I can stay on task. So I have like my cheat in there, like a new moon means rest, let go, dream, and plan. First quarter moon, plant seeds and nurture. Full moon, complete stuff, share, and reevaluate. And then the last quarter moon, you're supposed to like harvest, integrate, and clean up, complete, and reflect. And so I even have that in this journal. So it's like a reminder of, okay, what should I be focusing on this week?
Did I ever show you that I put my moon stickers in my planner?
Yes, you did.
What I didn't do was put the code in there. So that's what I need to add.
Yes. So I'll definitely throw those in the show notes. One thing that I also wanted to mention, I think I had sent you a link to this, LaKaye, the Laura Horn episode, and she found how she does her planning, which I love because it aligns with what I do too a little bit. She mentions the mindset piece, but it's not in the 4 elements that she breaks down at the end. But the 4 elements is, she said, in order to really achieve your goals, you need to plan and have good systems. Make sure that you're working on joyful projects and deadlines. You need to have a clear purpose and prioritization. So she's like your year goals, but then you need things broken down like monthly, weekly, and daily in order to stay accountable. And then the last thing that she outlined was like willingness to give up things to make space for what you really want and set boundaries to support your well-being. And so I really loved her breakdown of that because I resonate with it, especially with joyful projects, because the reason why I do the Studio 78 podcast, even though it takes a lot of time, is because I get joy out of it, you know?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So I need to go and revisit that too. So
Mm-hmm.
I think what happened to me in my first quarter is that I stopped doing joyful projects
Mm-hmm.
because I think we talked about it before. We both have this very business oriented minds. So I felt like if I wasn't making strides in my business, I wasn't moving. So I stopped being creative, and that also depresses me. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to add joyful things back to it. So I think that's a good system to use.
Yeah. Okay, so as we wrap up here, the one thing that I didn't mention to you beforehand, so you're going to be like, Nache, you didn't give me a heads up. But another thing that I want to do next quarter that I didn't really have as much time to do this quarter is read. And so for you, I'll go first to give you time to think about maybe some books that you want to read. So what happens is when I listen to different podcasts, or I'm online or whatever, people will mention books, right? And what I'll do is I'll go in Amazon. And on Amazon, you could create lists. I don't know if you guys know that, but if you don't, you can. And so I have a book list and I just add books there, right? So that means at any point when I'm ready to like look for something new, I'll have it. And so there's a few books that people have mentioned that I might try to tackle next quarter. I'm not sure. A couple of them are the inflammation spectrum, find like foods that trigger and reset your system. And so you guys might not know, but I have a really finicky stomach. And so I was listening to a food podcast about someone who actually was able to clean her gut, and she referenced this book. So this is something I was like, oh, this would be good to have. I also have down the Millionaire Fast Lane, Crack the Code to Wealth and Live Rich. So love my good business books. Another one that was recommended is The Color of Law, A Forgotten History of How Our Government Segregated America. So that's a history book. There's another one, 100 Million Offers, How to Make Offers So Good People Feel Stupid Saying No.
Wow.
And my kryptonite is marketing. I just like to create. So I thought that would be a good one. I thought you would appreciate that one, LaKaye.
I do.
And then another one is Rich Girl Code, a guide to help women unleash their inner rich girl. That just sounds cool. And then the last one that I'll mention, and this is by Gary Vee, is Crushing It, how great entrepreneurs build their business and influence and how you can too. And that's just a few of them. I've got like a whole bunch, but I'll stop there.
I am ready for you because here is the book that I'm reading right now.
Oh, okay. Don't let fear have all the fun.
Don't let fear have all the fun by Monique Malcolm. And not that far into it, but what I've read so far has been outstanding. So I have to give a shout out to Monique. She'll probably hear this at some point. That I really think her writing style is unique. It is easy to digest. A lot of times you read these books that are like overwhelming and really heady, and no, it's not like that at all. So I'm diving into that. Excited about that. I have a whole list of books on I'm an Audible person.
Yeah, same.
So I digest information better when it's read to me, so I can take notes, or I have to keep my hands busy. Sometimes reading, I don't know, holding a book. I like physical books. I like when they're designed, and I love magazines. Mm-hmm. But it's something about holding them that I can't do other things while I'm doing it that doesn't help me digest information. So if Monique ever does this Audible version of it, I'm all over it.
I really told her, I was like, you should do an audio version.
Yeah, it would be great. And I love to hear books read by the author.
I feel like there's like a passion in their voice as they're reading their own content. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And she has a good voice too. I think it would resonate with people because some people don't have a good voice, so you don't want them to read their book. But Monique has a good voice.
And I'm sure there's a lot of other books that I should be listing right now, but I can't get into my Amazon list right now. My password's
No, that's fine. I just wanted to throw a few out there. There was a couple that I also read. I did have time to read at the top of the year, and one of them was Monique Malcolm's book, and then there was like another one, but I didn't read as many as I normally do because I felt on my commute I was mostly listening to podcasts. Mm-hmm. It was like the season of podcasts for me. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I'll go through seasons of that too. So, The other thing about me with the books is I used to ingest information that I'm an Enneagram 5, so I will take on loads and loads of information, but I also was not doing the work that the book would recommend. So I kind of slowed down on reading a bunch of books and listening to a lot of business things because it was just overwhelming my brain with information. So actually, I'm pretty intentional about now I'm just going to do one book or one course at a time. And I'm going to implement what I've read or what I've learned before moving on to the next. Because I would just go through and find another business podcast or business book, but it didn't help. I couldn't, have enough time in the day to do 16 different people's thought processes.
Mm-hmm. You actually weren't taking action, so it wasn't really useful.
But I was learning a lot.
Yeah. But what I find is like that as you read more books and some are a little repetitive, like what one covers, the other one covers, just saying it differently. You do start to absorb the content, and when the time is right to execute it, you know what to do because you've listened to what you should have done over and over again. Yeah,
and a lot of the business advice is, like you said, repetitive, but it lets you know that you're on the right path. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that they're regurgitating the same information. I just think what they're saying works, and you might as well listen to the people who have done it. So, you know who I like to read? I also like to read Pat Flynn's books.
Oh, I'm a Pat Flynn fan, and I did because I just wanted to support him. I bought like one of his books, but I never read it.
Will It Fly is a really good book, and that's one of the ones I will go back to visit now that I'm in a different phase of my business journey.
I have a copy of that. So you think, I didn't read it, but yeah, mainly because it was like it wasn't audio, so I didn't have the capacity to like flip through it and read it. Like I just didn't have the time, rather.
That's one of the ones I listened to first, and then I bought the book afterwards so I could go back to the information. It was Will It Fly, and he has another one, Raving Fans, Super Fans, or something like that. Mm-hmm. That was also really good. So, and those are good ones to go back and listen to. And I know how much you love Big Magic, but I'm just not a fan.
You see, I mentioned it, but that is an oldie but goodie. I have the audio version. I got the Kindle version. I have the hard copy. That's one of the few books I've read more than once. I Yeah, something about it just is magical. I just love just the idea of ideas going from one person to the other. I love the idea of giving space to the thing you love before putting pressure on it. I love how she talks about it and just tells her stories. Like, I am a Elizabeth Gilbert fan versus a Brene
How
Brown
dare you?
fan.
How dare you?
I still haven't read a Brene Brown book. Don't kill me, people. Don't kill me. It's
Yeah,
just the style of writing. I love Elizabeth.
it was too woo woo even for me.
I loved it. It was magical.
You know what else I'm going to go back to? I used to listen to this once a year. Have you read The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes?
Love that book.
Yeah. Okay. So we're in agreement. That one was life changing for me. I think did it come out in 2016? But anyway, I need to go back and visit it because when I actually put into practice what she said, I was saying yes to a whole bunch of stuff. I was doing some wild stuff, but it was good. So I need
But
to go back.
but you know why maybe Big Magic didn't resonate for you?
Why is that?
Because so I think Year of Yes. If for those listening, LaKaye is giving me a look right now. For those on YouTube, y'all see the sass. Do you see the sass? I think Year of Yes resonated with you because you could relate to it and you're like, okay, I probably do say no to a lot of stuff. What would happen if I just said yes, right? I remember talking to Sarah Matthews without even reading the book. She was just inspired by the concept and she did that too, which helped catapult her business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so with Big Magic, I feel like that, and I'm not saying this is true for everyone, but I'm just talking about LaKaye here. I think she didn't resonate with it because she talks a lot about not putting pressure on the thing that you love, but you're already doing that. Does that make sense? Like, as someone who's working a 9 to 5, it resonated with me because I could relate because I'm like, okay, I like doing all this stuff. And she's like giving folks like me in my position permission to, you know what I'm saying, to just let their ideas like be and don't put a lot of pressure on it. And there was some other reasons too, but I wonder maybe for you not to go down this Big Magic hole.
It's too late. We're there.
If it didn't resonate as much because you're just like, whatever, pressure's here. I love photography. It is my full-time gig. Is it, right? And so what she's talking about, it's hard to fully take on because you're just in a different place, if that makes sense.
Yeah, whatever. It was just boring. Sorry, Liz Gilbert fans. I'm sure she's a lovely person.
Did you listen to the audio version?
I don't even remember. I think I did listen to the audiobook version. And did I buy it? Because it was on the top of your list. So maybe I'll give this another shot.
That's okay. It's not for everyone.
And
But
like I said, I don't think Brene Brown is for you because I don't think you have the same issues that a lot of women face with. She deals a lot with shame and insecurities and all that stuff. Like, you're a whole boss of everything. So you don't have to.
yeah, for me, and maybe that's it. I think too, like, her style of writing just doesn't resonate with me, but I think I've talked about it on the podcast before too. I know everyone needs help in the areas that she's covering, but for me, when it comes to like my confidence level and not believing in myself, I'm good. I'm not saying I don't have
She's for the rest of us.
I'm not saying I never have periods of doubt, but I feel like when she's talking about it, I'm just like, I'm already there. I already believe in myself. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's telling me things that are not helpful to me because I'm just, not in that place. I tried to listen to it though, from a perspective of what can I use to help other people? Because maybe the way I build my confidence and the way that I talk about gaining confidence might not resonate with someone, but if I understand how other people are conveying how you become more whatever, then I can try different tactics in order to help other women. But it was so boring, I couldn't do it.
What's interesting about this whole conversation is that means that there's room for all of us. You like to hear your information presented one way. I like to hear my information presented another way.
Agree.
That challenges for me a lot because I'm like, oh, I don't know if anybody wants to have my pictures because some so and so down the street is everybody has their own way of doing things. So I'm going to resonate with somebody else, whatever. So I think
I agree. That's it, folks. One thing that I'll mention, only because LaKaye always be harassing me, so she always tells you guys that I harass her, but actually it's LaKaye that harasses me. Okay? Okay.
Nobody believes that.
But in my newsletter that I sent out today, I don't know when this will air, but I mentioned on March 25th, I'm leaving that Saturday open to do 1 hour sessions for $197 for anybody that wants me to just go through their whole productivity system and either give it an audit, or if they don't have a productivity system at all, for them to walk me through how they currently get things done or not done, so then I can make recommendations for them, or to them rather.
Let me tell y'all something. If you don't hop on that, you need to go ahead and just do it. Jay is the best at this. Seriously.
I think I was telling LaKaye this the other day, but I have a love for looking at data and information, even when it comes to people, and assessing it, and then finding like a clear plan of action, like a structure or like a strategic approach to doing things. Mm-hmm. And I just get joy out of doing that. So when people tell me like all the things, I can see in my brain, oh, it's because you're doing this, because you need to do this, because da-da-da. And like, when people actually take action and listen, then, I don't know, people always tell me they get good results when they actually do the thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I will have, depending on just time, I might do another one in April or May. So if you're interested, just shoot me an email, hello@nachesnow.com. Sign up for the newsletter. I'll also put it out there. LaKaye wants me to do more on my social media. I might do it out there too. But I do love it because then I'm helping someone accomplish their dreams or make time for their passion, which is the whole reason I started this podcast.
You're like the creative Iyanla Vanzant. So like, Nache, save my life. You're like, listen, this is the things you need to do. Da-da-da-da-da, A, B, C, and D. Cut out this. Oh my gosh, it's a whole new world.
If you really want to change things and actually accomplish some stuff in Q2 and you just can't figure it out, I will help you.
And then it'll be pretty too. Who would be your ideal person for this? What stage of their business or careers or what?
Yeah, I think that it would be someone between 30 and 50.
Wow, I didn't think you were going to get that specific.
Women between the ages of 30 and 50 that are trying to make time for some type of creative passion. And it doesn't have to be a creative passion, but we might be able to connect more because I am a crafter. I love to create. I love technology. So if there are things that we have in common, I think that conversation is going to be more fluid, and I'm going to resonate with kind of your troubles and what you're trying to accomplish. Not troubles, but challenges. And I think it's someone who is really mentally ready to take action, right? It's not someone who's going to come and talk to me for an hour and then the next day watch Netflix all day. It's like someone who's going... Attacked. Okay. It's someone who's going to be so charged after getting off the phone with me that they will have implemented at least one of the 3-4 things that I talked to them about that day, and then take the next day to do whatever, right? It's someone who is ready to get that just little boost, that kick in the pants, but just needs help with structuring stuff.
And also getting the noise out of the way. I think that's what you're really good at. Like, I have 25 things. Which are the top 4 I need to do first before I can accomplish the other things?
Yeah. And what's interesting is like people usually know that, but sometimes you just need someone to listen, and you need to hear it out loud, and you need someone that's like sketching things out as you talk, and then things just click. And it's investing in yourself and taking the time to actually just think about you and your needs and what needs to be done can be very clarifying.
I love it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say that. But anywho, folks, this is the end of season 10. Season 11 we'll be back in a couple of months. I hate to say like exactly when I'm going to shoot for May, but it could be June.
Allow yourself grace.
Giving myself a lot of grace, but of course, I will be back with more amazing guests. And hit me up on social, the newsletter. Make sure you also follow LaKaye. Get on her newsletter. I'll have all of LaKaye's links in the show notes. And leave us some messages, especially while we're off, because if there is someone you want us to talk to, if you want to share a win with us that maybe we could share on the next season of the podcast. Like, seriously, folks, don't be shy. Confidence. Channel Brene Brown. Send us a message.
Wow.
That was low.
What you just threw.
Brene, first of all, Brene, if you're listening to this, it's not that I don't love you. I think you are a total boss. I just can't read your books.
Wow.
I love you, Brene.
Too late.
But I love your friend Elizabeth Gilbert even more. But anywho, all right, folks. Well, that's a wrap. And as always, if you haven't already, if you love the podcast, please head over to Apple Podcasts and rate me 5 stars. If you're looking at our smiling faces on YouTube and you've made it to the end, please give us a thumbs up. And wherever you're listening, please subscribe. And also remember, sharing is caring, my friends. If you think this would resonate with someone you love, please share it with them. Okay, my friends. See you in a couple of months. Take care.
Bye.